Alright, gang. Well, here's a video. Haven't seen one of these for a while. Gottlieb Reactor. And this is a game I just got in, so we're going to take a look at it. And I'm going to try and get this thing running. This is an all-original game. So for posterity, I thought I'd kind of check it out. It's currently not working. And we got this in as is, and we need to document this thing. So I figured for posterity I'd take a video. We're going to try and get it running, and I'll try and step through what I do here. All I know is that when you power it on, you get nothing. But it's got all the original board set. It's got the power brick. And looks like a 4600 monitor, or 4900, I'm sorry. Wells Gardner. And a power brick and everything, and it's not working. First thing I did is turn this thing on. I got no net glow. What I did so far is I unplugged this board set here, and just in case there was an issue, just to see if I get anything on the power supply. Usually you get on these, you'll get a little 5-volt indicator light. I got nothing there. Tested a few points, and so to start, I did that, and I got nothing. It was pretty dead. I got no net glow on the monitor. Took a Q-tip and wiped some of that dust off to see if I could get any net glow. And I didn't look at this too close, but everything was plugged in, and then I noticed there's 2 fuses in the bottom of the cabinet on the power brick, and that might have been monkeyed with a little bit. There's one of the fuses is gone. The other fuse is in there and intact. So that would probably do my problem. I'm not getting any fluorescent tube lighting or anything really. So my guess is we're going to start on the power brick and see what's wrong with it, and otherwise just kind of going over this thing just so we have a starting point. Here's the Gottlieb Reactor as it sits. Got little rough edges. Got pretty good artwork. I mean, the cabinet's not bad, and like I said, here's where we're starting. So we'll see if we can get this thing back up and running and get a nice cabinet to start. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, we got the power brick out, and that would probably be our problem. So we've got one of the main fuses that comes in on the main power that is just gone. So there's no fuse holder, and it looks kind of jacked up, but it wasn't even connected, so there's no fuse in it. I looked in the schematics, and it appears that that's a 4 amp, what appears to be a slow blow, or a delayed fuse that goes there. So I'm gonna have to replace that whole thing and see if I can get that repaired, and we'll plug it back in and see what happens. Here we go. Alright, just to make sure, I came over to the manual because the fuses aren't marked on that assembly. So one thing you can do in the manual is look at the wire colors, and it talks about fuses here. So let's look at F1, F2, F3. On the power brick, the only one that's labeled is F2. That one's intact. We know that one's a 6-volt AC, which is 3 amp slow blow. That one's intact, which leaves F1 and F3. One's for the monitor, one's for the primary power. I'm suspecting the primary power, the way it's written up. So F1 is a 4 amp, F3 is a 2 amp. One thing that we can look at, let's take another look somewhere else here in the manual. But before we do that, here's the wire color assembly. 0, black, brown, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, slate, which must be gray, and white. So let's take a look and see what the wire colors are in the schematic. So I came down here and I find the on-off switch. So this is F1, which should be a 4 amp. So the wire colors going to that fuse, which is F1, should be, one of the wire colors there is 744. So what's 744? Okay, so back up here, the 744 is going to be a white wire, which is 744, which is going to be purple, yellow, and yellow. So let's go back and see which one that is. Okay, so purple, yellow, yellow looks like that is the fuse that we are missing. So that is the main power fuse, which would make sense because we had no lights, we had no fluorescent lights, we had no monitor, we had no nothing. And I suspect the monitor fuse might be bad, but the F2 fuse, which is the one that's on this side over here, the wiring, that's going to be the 5 or 6.3 volt AC fuse. So we'll test those fuses quick and make sure they're good, but it looks like we got the right fuse in there. So that's this is F1, this is F3, that's F2. So we'll probably end up labeling this thing with a Sharpie. Okay, so got everything plugged back in. I screwed this thing in with a couple bolts, just left a few out just in case I got to take this apart again. Game's plugged in, that switch is off. What I like to do with this is I like to unplug the game board, soundboard. Those are kind of fragile stuff, and let's see if we get any light here for the 6 volt, and then we get power to the monitor, coin door, and then up in there there's a fluorescent. So let's see what happens. Alright, I'm wondering if we're gonna get anything exciting here. Maybe we can turn this off and see if we see anything good. Oh, whoa, we got something. Could have a fire starting, but we did get power supply lights, so I did get a flash on the bulb. I don't know if the monitor's working or not. I just don't hear any hum there. It's plugged in. I didn't really touch the monitor, so it could be dead, but it looks to me like we get so it's kind of working. Let's do a little more digging. Let's plug some stuff in. Hold on. So as I suspected, what I like to do after I turn those things on for the first time is see if I blew any fuses. Well, I did. I blew basically this fuse here, which is the monitor fuse, the 2 amp slow blow, and it smoked. It didn't look like a slow blow fuse that whoever had that in there, which is another good lesson. Just check your fuses before you power it on. This is probably the wrong fuse. I'm going to check real quick and I'll let you know what this is. Yeah, and so sure enough, whoever had this before put in a fast blow fuse. It was fine before, but they never could get the main power to shut on. They couldn't figure out why, because of course it was missing the power fuse. So they put in a 2 amp fast blow and it went right away. So it could be from unstable current, it could be just fine. Let's put in a slow blow and see if we blow that fuse. Alright, for y'all who don't know, slow blow fuse is going to look a little thicker. Let's see if we can get the... That's a slow blow fuse. You'll see a big thick band in there. It's not going to be real thin. That's what was in there. So let's plug this in and find out. Yeah, look at my glove. I just tore it when I was tearing the fuse, putting the fuse back in. Alright, we're still plugged in. Let's see what happens when we turn this on. Whoa. Something flashed pretty big up top. I don't know. It doesn't look like we have anything. This came on for a second. I have no idea what flashed up there. My guess is we blew it again. These are good. These are good. So we're blowing a fuse somewhere. That's my gut. Yep, so we blew a fuse. So we have a short somewhere. Either the monitor's causing the fuse to blow on the power side, or the fluorescent light's causing the fuse to blow, or something else on that monitor line is. My guess is it's the monitor, and it doesn't like whatever is there. So I might try this again, unhook everything but the monitor, and see if we can get that sucker to go. Again, I have several fuses, so normally I'd use just a fuse breaker clip, but I have it in my other toolkit, so I have a ton of these fuses though. So let's see if I might play around with this a little bit and unhook a few things, and I'll let you know. Okay. Basically I'm just now gonna unhook the monitor. I didn't even think about that. To get to this reactor, to get up to the fluorescent light fixture is kind of a bear. You got to take off a bunch of stuff and to get up in there. I kind of suspect that could be the problem, and I could unplug it up here, but I'm just going to see if the monitor, I mean, that's what it's fused for. So the monitor, and I smelled something goofy, so I don't know. It looks to me like we could have a monitor problem. I don't see anything glaring really, but you know, if it has a bad flyback or there's a short somewhere, transistor is bad or something like that, it's going to go. These are really good monitors too, easy to repair. So I plan to take this whole thing out anyway and give it a royal treatment, but we'll see what happens. Let's turn it on. Monitor unplugged. Everything else on. Do we get any light glow? It was trying to start, so maybe that is hooked up through there. I'd have to look at the schematics. I have a light there, but yeah, so we have everything but monitor. It's unplugged. So I'm wondering if the power for the fluorescent fixture doesn't run off that. It's got a couple little fluorescent ballast transformers up top, so that could blow it. The monitor could blow it. It's hard to say. So let's check and see if the fuse is good. Fuse is good, so let's see if we can systematically remove the light fixture, plug the monitor back in, and see if it blows. Alright, well, I turned this on, plug the monitor back in, have a good fuse in there, unplug the light, and now I'm seeing a little bit of net glow. Probably hard for you guys to see, but I see it in there. So maybe just a little bit. Yeah, so we're getting some net glow. Let's see what happens. I get good I'm going to test these voltages. This says my voltages are good on the power supply, so I might be able to test this board and plug it in. I'll do that in a second. Alright, well. Alright, sorry. So when I look at the power supply itself, you'll see there's the diode. D43 is the LED. So that's the minus 12. You'll see there D35 is plus 12. D25 is 30 volts DC. And then I believe down here you have that last one, which is, where's that at? Oh, there it is. There's your 5 volt rail DC, and it's that LED in the corner. All 5 of mine are on. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're working. And there's no test points per se on this thing. So I gotta find where to test this thing. I've never really messed a ton with these power supplies, but I'll see if I can't find it and test the power supply, make sure voltages are good before I plug in the board. So I tested this. Basically, the best way to test this 5 volts is right down here. You can test it right on this fuse, and I had 5.09. Here on the 30 volt rail, I had right at 30, just under. On the 12 volt rail, I measured the bottom side of this, and I was under 12 volts. That was about 9 point something. So my guess is this needs capped, or I have a bad resistor, and there looks to be a few burnt parts there. So my guess is I'm having some resistance. The diode must still be good, but there's a lot of heat right there. And then and that could be the problem. This is a minus 15, should be a minus 12 DC, so it's running a little high. So anyway, I think my voltages are fairly safe. I'm going to leave the soundboard off for now, just because I know I want to just wait until I get that. But I'll test the game board, no big deal, and I'm confident with a good 5 volts right there. I think we'll be good. The grounds are good, so Gottlieb's kind of notorious for bad grounds. Especially on pinball machines. This is the same era as the System 80, and so it has some of the same stuff on it. The bridges tend to fail, fuse clips tend to be not great. Filter cap right there, that big blue filter cap would be beneficial to replace. And then on the power supply, all that, even those filter caps there, they bleed real slow. They're probably fine, but all those caps need done, and probably a few of these big wire wound resistors. So we'll work on it. Let's just see what we can do. I'm curious. Well, look at that shit. I didn't plug in the soundboard yet, but this is what we got. And that's pretty exciting because it looks good. The monitor looks good. It's going to get a full rehaul. It's blooming a little bit with the blinking, which I'm not surprised. The cap kit will probably fix a lot of that. I'll probably put a new... I'll just redo the whole monitor, but... And the trackball needs stuff, but yeah, it's a pretty good sign. I mean, we got the game working for the most part. I'm going to rebuild the power supply and rebuild the monitor, and I bet this thing will be pretty good to go. Exciting stuff. Gottlieb Reactor. I'm pretty pumped.